Swami, Jagadguru Prabhupada ki Jai. Iskcon Vedavyasapriya, Jagadguru Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Vaishnava Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya, Ashtakar Shata His Divine Vishnu Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prema se kho Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Braja Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Nandi Babu Dham ki Jai. Ganga Mai ki Jai. Jamuna Mai ki Jai. Bhakti Devi ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Oh, glorious to Samal Divinity. Glorious to Samal Divinity. Glorious to Samal Divinity. Glorious to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakatam Dadati Spadadati Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jita Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sadhana Raghunatham Kantam Sujimam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sadhana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamscha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tatta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishnamasya Devi Pranamani Jarikiye Vanchakal Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namaha Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vinaya Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Today we are learning Sri Krishna Namastakam, rendition by Srila Rupa Swami in glorification to the Holy Name. These are very intimate prayers. Such prayers to glorify the Holy Name comes after a very, very great maturity and pure devotional service. This prayer from Srila Rupa Goswami glorifies Sri Harinam Prabhu, the most merciful personality of the Holy Name, who has descended into the material world in order to rescue and enliven all living entities. Srila Rupa Goswami starts by prostrating himself unto the lotus feet of Sri Harinam. Say, this is a matter of personification. We do not know even our own personification. We are that much engrossed in ignorance. But personification requires two things: the energy to be bound up by the modes. If spiritual energy is there and spiritual mode is there, spiritual manifestation of personification will be there. So because the material energy is bound up by material modes, gives you the material body. How did this material body came into existence? And different shapes and sizes and so on. But this is according to the desire of the living entity, the gross material elements are recombining the one which has been turned into the dust. They are recombining with the all 5 tanmatras, 5 sense of perception, then 5 objects of sense perception, 15 plus earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego. All these are gross energies. Krishna created as a separate energy from him. So that constitutes a separate world of material nature. So in material nature, everything is manifest. Even the trees have different natures. Some of the mode of ignorance, of course the trees are in mode of ignorance. But there are also some very not only friendly, but see in fragrance and size and shape, that Krishna always admires them. Every tree has a life of sacrifice for others. But some are thorny, want to protect themselves. So they got this kind of bodies. The living entities, they are also having sthavaram, means steady at one place. They are also called padapa, means they drink water from their roots, means pada means the legs. They don't have mouths, but yet they drink. Apani pado javana grahita. Krishna doesn't have hands or legs, yet he accepts and he walks. So all these potencies are there, and it is distributed very widely. So similarly, Nama Prabhu, the holy name is full of potencies, but transcendental potencies. If potency is there, then naturally the qualities or the nature or the modes are there. The modes, Satchidananda, There are three modes in spiritual. And they bind the spiritual energy to make a form. So Nama Prabhu, the holy name, is manifested not in only in alphabets or syllables, but rather in the original form, Lord Krishna. Because Abhinnatvamanamanamino, there is no difference between the name and the possessor of that name. That is Krishna. Nama Chintamani Krishnasya Chaitanya Rasavikra. So, when Rupa Swami out of his the holy name is Harinam Prabhu, and the most merciful personality of the holy name. The personality of the holy name. People cannot think if they don't have sufficient brain substance to understand that yes, everything is personality. Even the shape of the letter is also very, very conducive to the meaning of personality. Even etymology, about calculating the number. Ram is 2 and 2.5, Dhayakshar. What is that verse in Tulsidas? Just 2.5 letters. Numerology. Numerology is there. You can understand the value of that word. So every attribute is there. Etymology, numerology, everything is true. In etymology, Kru, Krishna means Kru, Dhatu is all supportive, foundational. Means all pleasurable. Krishna is all supportive and all reservoir of pleasure. Now, if this means in spiritual life is identical with the personality, then there is no difference. But because we are in difference, but our difference, when it removed by the mercy of the holy name, Achintya, oneness will be coming. Right now we are in a Veda, means differences are there. We cannot estimate the differences. Every thing about us, it's not congenial for Krishna consciousness, because we were born in the darkness of ignorance. Our bodily conception is nothing but earth, water, fire, air, ether, and yet we have developed so much attachment and love for our bodies. The formation of the body is there even after. Means recombination of the substances that have gone through our body will be used up by Mother Nature to make somebody else's body. Got the idea? Our bodies are transformation of the substances that were dissolved in the earth, water, fire, air and ether, and they are recombined. And it means recycling of these elements are going on. And we are so obsessed that we do not know. We take it for granted, this is the real thing. But it's all temporary. But here is an essential aspect that we are learning. Nama Prabhu, the holy name has a personality. according to whose holy name is that, it is completely at par. Therefore, Nama Chintamani Krishnasya Nama Chintamani. Nobody else is like that. Krishnasya Nama Chintamani Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Chaitanya means the flow of consciousness, the energy of consciousness, Chaitanya. And Rasa Vigraha, it is very palatable. You can lick Krishna from all the sides, but you can't lick the Murti of Krishna. And that has to be left only to Radharani. You can't think of it. But Rasa Vigraha is there. Have you seen a body made up of nectarian juices only? Huh? People try to make. There was in this YouTube videos, street food. They are making bargola, the shredded ice. They gather together and make a shape, and they try to put different juices on it. And I said, okay, eat. It's a sort of shape with juices that has to be consumed. But this is the Rasa Vigraha. It's actually nectarian flow. So, Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta Bhinnatva Mananamina is completely pure and eternally liberated. I mean, it is not going to act on your demand. We are contaminated, we have to purify ourselves. So, there is no bhidatva, means separation. At the same time, it means there is oneness as well as difference, simultaneously presented. Abhinatva. So, Achintya Bheda Veda Tattva philosophy is the prime philosophy that even Adi Shankara Mayavadi also used to establish his Mayavad, but with a different interpretation, of course. Ramanujacharya also used Achintya, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took Ramanujacharya's Achintya Veda Veda Tattva and imported in Krishna consciousness. Not Tattvavadis. Tattvavadi Madhvacharya Sampradaya, they didn't have Rasa Tattva. It is only Madhavendra Puri in the disciplic succession was imbued with the love of Godhead. So, the Nama Prabhu, the most merciful personality of holy name, who has descended into material world in order to rescue and enliven all living entities. Rupa Goswami starts by prostrating himself unto the lotus feet of Sri Harinam. Have you seen the lotus feet of Sri Harinam? Then is it a flowering language only? No. Because the identity of Harinam is Krishna. So, even in front of Krishna, you bow down your head to the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna and chant during that time. It is equivalent to offering obeisances to Harinam. When we bow down our head, what do we chant? Srila Prabhupada's name and the whole Panchatattva mantra and Hare Krishna mantra. That is offering. He declares that since the name is worshipped even by the Vedas in person, it is most appropriate to take full shelter of him. Now another mind-boggling point he is putting. That since the holy name is worshipped even by the Vedas in person, Vedas personified. Vedas are not simply letter writing, because these are transcendental literatures. They manifested themselves, Vedas personified, in many occasions to glorify the Lord. Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam it comes. Veda Stuti means the Vedic Stuti, the Vedas personified, offers their respectful obeisances and glorifies. That is called Veda personified. And they were the one, they are also the potency, and the potency wants to manifest. So, when Lord Krishna was going to appear, the Vedas came forward and offered prayers and exhibited the desire that they also want to participate in Krishna Lila. And Krishna told, oh, you can become this kind of gopis who are fully knowledgeable about the verdict of the Vedas. Vedas personified, gopas, gopis. So, understanding the intensity of our prayer, we are not praying in air or in vacuum. We are praying to the Lord. The deity is therefore present before us to accept our sincere prayers through the holy name. You will not know many poetic renditions of the prayers, but you know Hare Krishna. Krishna accepts that. Nikhila stuti mauli ratnamala dyuti nirjita pada pankajanta ai mukta kulair upasyamyamanam paritastvam harinam samashrayami. O Shri Harinam, the entire galaxy of Upanishads, which are like the necklaces of most precious gems, are serving the toenails of your lotus feet with their brilliance. Do you think that the Goswamis are shooting words in air? It's Akhila Rasamrita Sindhu. Akhila means unbounded. There are no horizons for it. Rasamrita, flowing nectar. Sindhu means the reservoir. So, the entire galaxy of Upanishads are giving conclusive statement about performance of one's activity recommended in that section of the Vedas, to indicate the ultimate source of all benedictions is Lord Shri Krishna. But the name will not be there, because there is so much material manifestations in a material world, the entire galaxy of Upanishads. As many worlds in outer space are there. I mean, how many are there? So many. Our Milky Way is not the only galaxy. It is simply a fraction. And there is insignificance of an Earth planet within that galaxy. And within that Earth planet, our insignificance is completely zilch. And yet we are so puffed up. Instead of getting puffed up, we should become humble in appreciating the magnanimity of, say, Lord Shri Krishna's toenail. Why the toenail? Rupa Goswami is very fond of toenails of Lord Shri Krishna. In that song he wrote, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. He also sings, Vidirapi Pashyati. Vidhi means the Brahma. That, my dear Lord, even Lord Brahma has been trying to worship the brilliance that is coming out from the toenails of your lotus feet since ages, and yet he cannot understand. What to speak of me? I can't understand anything. So you can see the highest reflection of the appreciation of the magnanimity with the humblest opinion of one's own realization. These are two extreme ends. The Upanishads are like a necklace of the most precious gems. And this necklace are only serving your toenail, or the tip of the toenail. So you can imagine glorification means glorifying means the Krishna's potencies and activities are so much magnanimous that you can't estimate with your tiny brain and its limit. No. But if you dive deep, understanding the two extremes, they are like paradox. No, they are not paradox. Do you think the creation is bigger than the creator? Who is big?
Creation.
Of course.
Creation is inside.
He is Purna. And Purnada Purnamadachyate. From the complete whole, all other units which are generating, they are also complete in themselves. And even after emanating so many complete units, he still remains perfect and complete. So, where are all these complete units which are coming out from him will be situated?
Inside Bhagwan Sri Krishna.
Within him, it cannot go beyond him. And therefore the absolute truth is revealed like this. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upashantitam jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina na buddhibhedam janet nat punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava. By knowing this absolute truth, you will never have this moham, means misunderstanding or illusion. Again, if you know this, what is that? Krishna reveals, Etanya bhutanya sheshani drakshas atmanyatho me. All the living entities are but my part and parcel. They are within me and they are mine. Now who can claim that? So, this is the great secret. Because Krishna reveals and it is congenial within this expression by Srila Goswami. In such a way, the Vedic scriptures are constantly glorifying your lotus feet. We see nothing but glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in all the Vedic literatures. Glorification about the personality, but the personality will be revealed later because it is difficult to reveal. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavruta. I will not be exposed to anybody and everybody. I'll cover myself into my own internal potency. Great yogis, sages, and liberated transcendentalists are engaging in worshipping you. If this is the immense glorification, the yogis have to spend many lives just to meditate on them. Therefore, I fully surrender to you and humbly pray for your shelter. Not only do the sages worship Sri Harinam, but they also constantly chant Krishna's names because he appeared to please everyone in this material world. Thus, besides the relieving one from sinful reactions, chanting the holy name also gives supreme pleasure. You will never get tired chanting, because chanting begets chanting. And therefore Rupa Goswami says, I wish I could have millions of tongues so I can chant, and millions of ears so I could constantly hear. That is the intensity of the desire. At least we can cultivate desire. If not manifest externally, we do not have that vision in thinking of Krishna. But it is possible to create a desire because Krishna is unlimited. He has desires, unlimited desires. So, we have also the same tendency. At least qualitative tendency, may not be quantitative tendency. We have unlimited desires. But all these desires, when they are connected in Krishna conscious activity, they are automatically fulfilled. Because it's Rama Prabhu's mercy. Number 2. Jaya Namadheya Muni Vandyageya He Jana Ranjanaya Param Akra Tvam Anandar Api Managa Udritam Nikhila Ogra Tapapatalim Vilumpansi. O Sri Harinam, who is chanted by all sages for the pleasure of the living entities, you have assumed the form of the supreme transcendental syllables. If a person chants your name even once and derisively too, even then you completely destroy the monstrous mountain of his sinful reactions. Unintentional chanting also gives benefit of liberation. And if One is chanting derisively. What is derisively? Out of deep absorption in madness. You have a derisive nature.
Like when we go on a kirtan in the casinos, people come with a glass of beer, but they chant.
And this automatically chant derisively.
Is that the same as Namapara?
Huh?
The derisive chanting is Namapara?
No, it is Abhasina.
Derisive is Namabhas?
It is not Namapara, but it is Abhasina. He doesn't know, he is ignorant, but yes, he wants to get attracted because the potency is in Harina, not in alcohol. All right? So that is the reaction. If a person chants your name even once and derisively, two, even then you completely destroy the monstrous mountain of his simple reactions. That's called, he is creating a gyat sukruti, a meritorious activity towards devotional service. When somebody chants derisively, he creates an unknown credits towards devotional service. And it will fructify, may not be in that life, but in other life. How naturally somebody is attracted right from childhood. Our children are attracted to the holy name. And they dance very stylish. In Wellington, New Zealand, I have a disciple and she has 2-year-old girl. She just learned, but in the chanting, nobody can beat her in dancing. It's that kind of skillful dancing which attracts everybody. A 2-year-old girl. So, the sages constantly chant the holy name. And because they chant, they impart the chanting to the common people. So common people are becoming obligated for the direction that the holy sages are showing. So if they chant, then they also get the same path. So, pleasure of the living entities, you have assumed the form of supreme transcendental syllables. Now, what is this supreme transcendental syllables? If you see the grammar compiled by Srila Jiva Goswami, which is called Harinam Vyakara, the whole grammar has been composed on the basis of holy name. And how intend the concentration on the syllables that have come out. Harinam Vyakaran is a very well-studied literature, but it's scholarly, written by Srila Jiva Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. And he wrote the grammar based on the holy name. Because the holy syllables, transcendental syllables are there. These are not uttered only by the vibration of the tongue, but when somebody says Krishna, Ram, immediately the nature of the syllable, which is transcendental, will be revealed, exposed. Only thing is that gradually when the person gets purified by the chanting, then the meaning and his practice comes together to align with. Otherwise, those who are mechanical in chanting, the transcendental syllables are still there, but his intention in chanting is different. So you can see simply on the sound vibration, the yogis meditate. They used to meditate only on Omkar, only one word. So how much intensified the holy name would be? Omkar is only indicative of the Supreme Person. And anybody who represents the Supreme Person, like Lord Shiva also, the Omkar would be given to him, that he is the representative of Omkar. But through the sound vibrations. But out of all the sound vibrations, the value of Krishna syllables is the best and most valuable out of all the sound vibrations. So therefore, it is estimated that if you chant Vishnu Sahasranam, 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu, it will be equivalent to chanting 3 names of Rama. But it is equivalent to chanting only 1 name of Krishna. So you compare 3,000 names of Vishnu versus 1 holy name of Lord Krishna. It is that kind of potency in the syllable itself. The etymology is also different for Vishnu. The word Vishnu, Vishnu and Lakshmi, and their residence is in Vaikuntha, but there are 24 Vaikunthas, expansions. Alright? And their expansions are also there. But here, Goloka Vrindavan is only singular. But it's also beautifully composed by the Sandhini potency of Lord Balaram. Shastra Patra Kamalam Shastrakhyam Matmadam Tat Karnikanam Tat Damam Tat Anantamsha Sambhavam. It is Anantas Amsha Sambhavam. All the manifestation, material manifestation, spiritual manifestation, which is eternal, it does not get created nor destroyed, it is forever there. Right? But it is all the manifestation of Lord Balaram's potency, the Ananta Shesha. So, we have to understand the intensity of the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Therefore, O holy name, all glories unto you. It might be argued that hardly anyone is able to chant purely enough so that the holy name manifest in full splendor. It might be argued that hardly anyone is able to chant purely enough so that the holy name manifests in full splendor. But Srila Rupa Goswami does not agree. Even a glimmer of the holy name can free a person from material existence. So on that basis, Haridas Thakur said, if anyone who has chanted Lord Krishna's name, he should be considered instantly a Vaishnava, and one should not deride him or criticize him. What is qualifying and what is not qualifying in the material world? If you are in Krishna consciousness, everything is qualifying simply by taking shelter of the holy name, even if one chants accidentally, unintentionally, can relieve from the sinful life and put him on the threshold of Krishna consciousness. Rupa Goswami doesn't agree with the common notion that it is too difficult to chant purely. And you want to estimate the fullest splendor of the holy name? The desire is there. That was an impersonalist view of the four Kumaras. The four Kumaras heard a lot about the splendor of Lord Shri Vishnu and Vaikuntha. The splendor means is very brilliance, all right? The brilliance they were thinking in comparison of the sun globe. Or it may be 10 sun moons, 100 sun moons. So the curiosity sent them to Vaikuntha. And because they were impersonalists, they were trying to estimate, oh my God, we never put the Lord so brilliant, millions and millions of sun are glaring. Means they were completely blinded. They could not decipher. The Lord came closer. And they were touching his limbs and this and that. But they saw Tulsi leaf on the lotus feet of the Lord, and they bow down out of curiosity for the first time. Means they become devotee. Tulsi made them devotee. Tulsi made them devotee. So they went to measure the splendor of the Lord. But Srila Rupa Goswami does not agree. Even a glimmer of the holy name can free a person from the material existence. You know, again in the same bhajan, Krishna Deva Bhavanta Mande, when Rupa Goswami says that even a Brahma, for Brahma it is not possible to estimate the effulgence emanating from the tip of the toenail of Lord Shri Krishna. What to speak of me? But I know, Sanatan, your lotus feet are anchored by even the demigods to take shelter. Therefore, even though Krishna has put desires in us. I am going to take the shelter of your lotus feet, because they are equivalent to impart the same glory of the tip of Nama Prabhu, Lord Shri Krishna. If that is impossible, that is out of your brain estimation. You acknowledge your limitation, but you have immediately similar representative lotus feet of your Guru. So after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, Sanatana Goswami was the senior-most, and even though Rupa was the first student of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, "No, Sanatana, you are my Guru. You are my Guru. I will catch hold of your lotus feet for the same purpose, because you are represented. Krishna, why did you give me that desire? Why did you give me that desire if it is not possible for me to? To desire is not a crime, but what are you desiring? Shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. Simply by attraction of the transcendental effulgence that is coming out from the tip of the toe nail. And similarly, because the Ganges emanated from the performance by the tip of the toenail of Lord Vaman there, it is of the same intensified desire to purify ourselves from the water that washed Lord Krishna's feet. Therefore you go and take bath in Ganges. But when we go and take the bath, we don't have any idea because we have not studied. But here such glorification are there that should touch in our heart, and next time when you go to take bath in the Ganges, whether in Mayapur or Haridwar, never mind, or Yamuna and Vrindavan, never mind, just see. That kind of meditation should go in our mind. Simply based on chanting Hare Krishna so intently that this intensified feeling of pure devotion and glorification is coming out. Number 3. Yad abhaso api udyan kavalita bhava dhvanta vibhavo dasham tattvam adhanam api dishyati bhaktir pranayinim janasya tasyo dattam jagati bhagavan नाम तरणे कलिते निर्वैकुट कटिते निर्वकुवक्तुम क इह महिमानां प्रभवति. O illuminating son of Krishna's name, if any person by his chanting can even obtain a mere shadow of your splendor, then you dissipate the gloom of the omniscience that drags him into the darkness of the material world. You reward even The blind fools who are bereft of any spiritual knowledge with the vision that enables them to take up devotional service. Devotional service starts from chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What kind of a devotee who doesn't chant? It's called Shiva, imposter. One has to start serving from Sevanam Mukhe Jihvadau Swayam Sparatyamevadya Atah Krishnasya Namadi Na Bhavid Grahyam Indriye. If you want to utilize your senses and intellect to estimate the import of the holy name, you will not be able to do it. Na bhavet grahyam indriye. Our senses are material, obsessed with material nature. And you will not know the import simply by hearing the glories. No. Sevanam mukhehi jivado. You engage your tongue in the service of the holy name. Vibrate. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Swayam Sparatyamevadya. The holy name is so powerful that it will reveal its nature to the weak, ignorant entity. It's superior. If you chant Hare Krishna, don't get puffed up that you know how to chant. You know? Don't think that I can chant. Na pranadapi suniche, na taradapi sahisnana, amani namana dena kirtanya. Oh, do you chant your 16? Oh yes, every day. That is not a good attitude. But that may lead on the other side of the material life. Now I can do any damn thing. I have 22 hours left. I will leave. That is not good attitude. Humility in chanting. Because the holy name is powerful to reveal its nature to us if we have a humble attitude in serving the holy name. How do you serve the holy name? By Sevanam Mukhehi Jivado. Start from the tongue and engage all the other five senses. Jivado, beginning with the tongue. Swayam Sparatyam Evadya. Swayam means on its own, without your help. The holy name will reveal that splendor. And that splendor, when it is realized by the sincere devotee, then he can express these views. They reflect. O illuminating Son of Krishna's name, if any person by his chanting can even obtain a mere shadow of your splendor, then you dissipate the gloom of the Nisyans that drags him into the darkness of the material world. You reward even a blind fools who are bereft of any spiritual knowledge with the vision that enables them to take up devotional service. Those who have completely destroyed their senses, even they can also get benefit by vibrating the holy name. The import of the holy name, or the qualities of the holy name, the efficacy of the holy name, or if you say the glories of the holy name cannot be even understood. But unless and until one serves the holy name, it will be revealed to himself. So, in the first Diksha, the holy name is given. But if one serves faithfully, the revelation will be there. Unless and until chanting alone was used by Sukadeva Swami to go back home, back to Godhead. Hearing alone by Parikshit Maharaj sent him back home, back to Godhead. And Prahlad remembering alone. So all the 9 processes are perfect in themselves. And we are told to learn. But suppose in the old age, if I cannot do any physical service or even other mental service of, say, giving classes and this and that, but I will have service of remembrance. So it is not that we are thereafter. Krishna is perfect and complete whole, and we are connected with him. Therefore, O Sri Harinam, who is in this world, is able to properly describe your glories. Those who are in the material world, it is difficult for them to glorify you perfectly. Bhakti pranayam means that such a fortunate soul is able to recognize the devotional service as the supreme goal of life. This is the actual indescribable glory of chanting on the Namabha stage. Even in Namabha stage, you will be able to understand Bhakti pranayam means such a fortunate soul is able to recognize devotional service as the supreme goal of life. So, in Madhyamadikari level, the second grade of devotees, they have access to realize this, to become more and more absorbed in the meditation of the holy name. Another doubt might arise that other spiritual processes can extinguish the fire of Ugra Tapa as described in second sloka as well. Srila Rupa Goswami clearly rejects such an option. No other process, not even the realization of one's eternal spiritual nature through the impersonal Brahman meditation, has that tremendous power to completely eradicate all sinful reactions. This is only possible by the holy name. And to substantiate his statement, he quotes the Vedas. So, Namabhasa stage can also give the glimpse of the depth of the glorification that Namabhasa, he may not be able to do it himself, but he is able to perceive. That gives the benefit in Madhyamadikari level, and can become more inclined to the advancement. Any question or comment? This is a little tough. Want to think? Any question?
I was just thinking of the previous sloka,
Hmm?
the long sloka. There's a chant that matches that makes it singing it easier.
The first three?
No, the previous slide, I believe. Yeah, this one.
Yeah. Yat abaso api udyan. Abas means the shadow.
No, I mean the singing of it. It goes, I think, Yadavaso Pratyam Akise Kavalita Baba Vanta Virodo. It's that.
Bhumi chintamani.
That one.
And from the Samhita.
It makes it easier to sing that.
You mean to sing this verse in that meter?
Janastasya Vrittam Jagati Bhagavan
The Sadhu Vikrit Chanda.
That's the one. I was looking for the name.
Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stunvanti Divyaistavai Vedaisi Sangha Padakramo Panishadai Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavasthita Gatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam na Vidu Sura Suraguna Devaya Tasmai Namaha. These are different kinds of meters and you can sing in that. Yeah. But I don't have a vision. I can't decipher the small letters. So I have trouble in reading.
Zoom in.
When we were in the school, we were learning Sanskrit and different chandas to recite.
How many of Hare Krishna Namaste? 8?
Yeah, Astakam.
Cover these 2 more.
Yeah, we will cover a few more. But Rupa Goswami is the compiler of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and he also put up his intensified glorification at the maximum because he is the Rasacharya. He can't see the difference between the holy name and Lord Shri Krishna himself.
I only learned the personification of the holy name today.
Yeah.
That's what I learned from here.
It's a very composite understanding of Vaishnava etiquette, and this is also part of the etiquette, internal meditation. Our external activity and internal activity. You cannot show the internal activity to others, should not expose. It is your personal meditations. And generally it is done silently. But what is to be demonstrable for others, that you have to glorify like this.
I think Prabhupada said somewhere that your bhakti should be hidden from others the way, like supposedly a wife would have a lover and she's thinking of the lover, but she is performing all her duties with her, for her husband, even though her mind is somewhere else, but she is doing all of her other duties perfectly. So that
Yes.
there's no doubt in anyone's mind that you are, a good student, you're a good professor.
That is called parakiyaras, exhibition of parakiyaras.
But no one knows where your mind is. When
That's
it's really
correct.
understood.
We should not disclose how gopis were living. Their intensified meditation was always 24 hours on Krishna, even though they are with their husband or cooking or doing anything. But then they can never forget Krishna for a moment.
It's very, very nice, Maharaj, to know that holy name is can personify holy name, and while chanting you can offer the obeisances to the holy name by personification. I never kind of would have imagined that.
Yeah, there is so much to hear. We have to read Goswami's books. All right. Thank you very much. Prabhupada ki jai.
His Holiness Sri Vedavyasapriya Maharaj ki
Jai.
Thank you, Maharaj. Tomorrow we won't have a class here. Maharaj will be out in a home program. So we put it Facebook Live or something. So interested and we can watch this on Facebook Live. Yeah, that's we do it every day. So we do that class.
Everything has changed since I've been chanting.
But we'll be back here Saturday.
Appointments since I've been chanting.
Please know that I will play long time. Maharaj will stop it.
I had to turn on 2 jobs today. I had 2 jobs today to TikTok. 2 jobs. Everything's been changing. Right, so you still get $5 a day.
You have to do it. Faith and conviction. This will help me. This will take me somewhere. And I think Maharaj was the first class. He was telling us that holy name, chanting the holy name will reveal itself to you. That's another thing I learned in this class, that oh wow, holy name can reveal you some secrets. Which what that could be. Now you have to pursue holy name, chanting.
Stick.
You drop the one? No, that's Prabhu.
No, that's a Vikrami.
Whose one?
This is Vikram, when he was playing. Then he took it out.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Finish.